tonight's thought. I've been having to do immense mental gymnastics lately to play video games. I've been practicing karma quite a bit the last few weeks, as you may have heard. My dog Izzy has been through a lot of pain lately. She was diagnosed with a mass, a really big mass, and she went in for surgery last week, and she's back home. It was a very trying surgery. She almost didn't make it. They had to give her a blood transfusion, but this mass had just globbed onto every bit of her insides, kind of like a face hugger from Alien, where when they attempted to remove it, bits of her organs came with it, her bits of her lungs and her heart. And she lost a lot of blood during it, so she really almost didn't get home. And this was telling to me, or maybe it was just in the way that as a human being who doesn't like to believe in entropy and chaos, I saw this as a sign that all of my being nice to people has been paying off lately immensely. And just practicing karma, right? And this is what people who generally don't go to the Lord in prayer do, is they just try to be nice to people, I guess, every time they feel like they need something. And I, as a general rule, have always tried to be nice to people, but specifically when I need something nice to happen to me, I amp it up. I smile and do things I wouldn't normally do. Just go out of my way to try and put good energy out into the universe, right? To make sure good things happen to me and my wife and my dog Izzy. And she's back home. She's sleeping right now, but she's been very active. She's got stitches essentially holding her abdomen together and the flesh of her chest and everything. And so she can't do what she loves to do best, which is jump up on the couch and all that. What does this have to do with video games, right? But I've been just thinking lately that because I've been home, I finished graduate school, and I also lost a job last week, as I detailed on my last show. I got fired from my first job out of grad school, which was a whole saga. Honestly, it was for the best, really. It's just I've been playing video games lately. I don't know what else to say. I've been at home, and this is generally what happens during the summer. If you're a teacher, you find yourself with a lot of time on your hands at home, at least for a couple of weeks. When you no longer have classes to teach or anything like that. And what I find is that having been an adult and not having gotten regular summer breaks since I was a teenager, I kind of regress to being a teenager. So what did I do during the summers as a teenager? I played a lot of video games, right? And obviously they've grown up with me. I think I've said this on the podcast before that my generation, right, the millennials or whatever you want to say, we're kind of the first generation where video games or our toys in general have grown up with us, right? And video games are now all these things that we love as adults, right? Full of sex and violence and things like that. And so when we play video games now as adults, we go around and find ourselves usually with a huge cache of weapons and just going around these fictional worlds and just dispatching people in the most sadistic ways possible. Right. And if you're a person like me who likes to put good vibes and good karma out into the universe, playing video games is not usually the best way to do this. And I know that it's cartoon violence, and I know that it's fake and all that. But with all the work that physicists have been doing in recent years to prove that there are many other realities than the one that we are currently living in, I'm of the mind that one of these alternate realities could very well be the video game universe. And when we pick up a controller and we turn on the Xbox and we play, like I've been playing lately, Grand Theft Auto 5. I certainly feel that I could very well be controlling a character in an alternate universe. And why not? I mean, if we're going to believe that there are other worlds, other realities than the ones that we're living in now that are parallel to ours, then I guess logic would lead you to believe that we could be, when we play video games, not only putting bad karma out into our own universe, but other universes as well. And I don't need that right now. I don't need that at all. So, that being said, when I was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 today, I was getting really stressed out at the amount of killing that I was doing, trying to retrieve this thing that I needed to pull off a heist mission. And this game, Grand Theft Auto 5, if you're familiar with all the Grand Theft Auto games, I've always had an affinity for these games because I like video games that allow me to dabble in a reality that's very much close to mine. One with like cars and realistic day and night systems, and just a world that's very much like mine with a guy who looks like me, but he's got a lot of guns and he's running around and all that, and trying to complete heist missions, right? And I've always liked these games ever since I played Grand Theft Auto 3 back in the early 2000s. Whenever it came out, 2001, 2002, something like that. And it's just a game where you are asked to go on heist and prepare things for these heists, go and get certain equipment like blow torches to open up ventilator shafts and things like that, to crawl in and sneak in, or you can go in guns blazing, right? And I have always felt a certain reluctance to do this game, even though I enjoy the action elements of it, because these games never allow you to just get through anything or accomplish any task whatsoever without just committing these like horrendous acts of violence that you would never consider in your actual life, right? So I have been playing more Grand Theft Auto lately than I have probably like in the last 10 years since this game came out, just because the new Grand Theft Auto game comes out next year, and it takes place in Florida, and it's basically like in this kind of Elmore Leonard, Florida universe, which I love. Dealing with not just the sun and the sunshine and the beaches and all that stuff, but the hillbilly element of Florida as well, right? Your Florida man types, right? The Everglade alligators, and just the southern gothicness of it. I'm really looking forward to this game. So I've been doing what you can to get ready for a game like that, which is just playing the last game that came out, Grand Theft Auto 5. I've been doing a lot of stuff in it and completing all these missions and everything. But every time I turn this game on, I have to complete these mental gymnastics in my mind of being like, okay, I have to come into this game. I have to kill all of these people. How can I frame this in my mind in a way that it's just good karma? And so what I've been doing lately is I've been sort of telling myself, I'm not killing these people. I'm not really shooting bullets into them, because you really do hit them in terrible ways. I mean, the physics in this game, right? You have a submachine gun and you hit somebody in the chest and blood spurts out of them, and you hit their heads and their heads fall off and things like that. Really terrible. But you can't play this game without that kind of, without doing that stuff. You just can't. I tried to complete missions many years ago just using a taser. That didn't work, because you could get a taser and just like shock people. And that didn't work at all. You can't tase like 8 people at a time who are trying to kill you. So what I do in my mind is I basically say, okay, I'm not really like shooting them. With real bullets. I'm shooting them with rubber bullets, non-lethal weaponry. And that's not really blood that's coming out of their chest or anything like that, right? That's raspberry jam or something. And I'm just doing all this stuff and telling myself this stuff so that I can keep my dog alive, so that I can just like tell the universe whatever reality it is, either it be this one that I'm currently talking to you in, or the video game reality, the parallel universe video game reality. I'm just having fun. We're just playing. I'm playing, and all these non-player characters are playing, and we're just having a good time. And there's nothing bad or violent or sadistic about it at all. Right? I'm just and that way I can maintain some good karma, right? And yeah, this is the reality right now. This is an alternate reality I'm creating right now. This is the Midnight Citizen show. Wherever you are right now, it's night for me, and it's midnight somewhere in the universe. It's Saturday night somewhere in the universe, in some universe, right? Yeah, I'm your host, Mike Booty. Welcome to the Midnight Citizen show. Karma police. Video game karma police. I don't know. I think a lot of this, I'm a really terrible at video games. Especially now, I've been playing online. The way that they released this Grand Theft Auto 5 back in 2013 is they did they released the game where you can play the story version of the game, which is like these 3 criminals who band together to perform these increasingly dangerous heists that are ripped straight out of a Michael Mann film, like Heat or something like that, which is just right up my alley. I love that stuff. It's got like a soundtrack by Tangerine Dream and all that stuff. And then a couple weeks later, after they released the story, then they released this online mode, which is still going on to this day. It's got like this huge group of people, what they call a community. Yeah, it's got this big old community of people who are really into it and still playing it today. And in the past week or so, as I've been home without a job, I've been playing it quite a bit. Just sitting here at night and putting on movies. I had this really good experience the other night where I was playing Grand Theft Auto, and I was on a mission. I think I was trying to steal like some sonar equipment from my submarine. And I was watching the movie Future World. with Peter Fonda and like Blythe Danner. And that was a really great experience. It was just like a summer night watching an old movie and playing a game next to the window. And it was a fun experience. And yes, I was killing a lot of people, but again, they were just rubber bullets and raspberry jam, which may be the title for this episode. I don't know. We'll see. But I've always had a problem with these like ultraviolet video games, not necessarily because they are violent and they are making me do things as a person that I wouldn't normally do in real life. But it's just because these games are becoming increasingly cinematic. Like when you play a video game, you're like Grand Theft Auto, you're being asked to suspend your disbelief in the same way that you would when you watch a movie. But the only problem is that this game is based on such realistic movies. Like those Michael Mann movies really treat crime in a very real way. Like you take the movie Thief with James Caan, for example, where he's this high-end burglar of like jewels and things like that. And it was one of the first movies to really look at what the life of a professional thief was. Because Michael Mann, when he was writing it, interviewed a whole bunch of professional thieves. And, looked at how they would like launder their money, and looked at how they would put up front operations, and looked at how they would prepare for heists and things like that. And I just really enjoy those movies for like the realistic way that they look at crime. And so when I play a game like Grand Theft Auto 5, I kind of want that realism, and to a degree it's there. Okay. So like if you play the story, for instance, you got this main character, this guy, Michael, and he's, it's like me, right? And, he left his life of crime, and he's got this nice house now and things like that. And he's got a son that he's trying to reconnect with. So he's this former criminal trying to go straight, who is obviously pulled back into a life of crime by his former partner. Okay, and all that's well and good. It's a totally realistic and believable storyline, and you suspend your disbelief because, it's nestled in the tradition of narrative storytelling, where you have to have a character who's past something, but then he gets pulled back in, right? And so, yeah. So I'm playing this game, Grand Theft Auto 5, and this is many years ago that I'm playing this story. And there's one scene where you get harassed by a bunch of cops, and they take you to jail, and they take all your weapons away from you, and they strip you down. You're naked, or like you're in your boxers or whatever, saying you as in like the character Michael. And the mission is that you have to break out of jail. Okay, that's fun. I like that idea. I love like prison escape movies. Like Escape from Alcatraz is one of my favorite movies of all time. I just love the reality that they bring to it of how you would actually escape from an inescapable situation. And so I'm thinking like at this mission, it's like, okay, I'm going to ask to be super stealthy, sneak past all these guards, and I can do this mission without having to kill anybody because I don't have any guns. They took them away from me. Okay, that's great. All right. Okay, well, the first thing they ask you to do is knock a guard out. Okay, I guess you could use a little bit of brute force as long as you're not killing him. Okay, and then when you knock him out, suddenly a gun appears in your Grand Theft Auto 5 inventory. Okay, I guess that makes sense. You get a gun, so now you can kind of arm yourself. Still don't have to kill anybody. And then the guard that you just knocked out and took his gun away from, he gets up and he starts moving towards you. And I'm like, okay, I guess maybe I can knock him out again. Nope, the game won't let me do that. Because what does the guy do? He suddenly pulls out a gun and starts shooting me. which, already is breaking realism right now. A police officer would not do that. They wouldn't. I mean, they may shoot you, but they got a gun on you, right? So then I have to now shoot him. Okay, so this is a little irritating because I don't want to play this game like I'm just a mass murdering suburban dad. That would make this game super unrealistic because now not only have I robbed some banks and things like that, now I've killed cops. And then suddenly all these other cops start descending on me because they hear the gunshots. And now I'm in the middle of this mission in this game where now I'm just being asked to kill all of these cops. And just breaks reality for me. Because if this were a movie, what would happen now is that there would be this every cop in the entire world would be after me. My entire suburban lifestyle would be completely destroyed. No more family. I'd have to go on the run and things like that. But what happens? Okay, so I escape the police station. I kill like 30 cops. I'm standing out there in the middle of the road of this fictional Los Angeles town called San Andreas or whatever it's called. And I get this big message that say mission passed. And everything goes back to normal. Cops who had previously been shooting at me 5 seconds before, they just go back to their normal business patrolling the beat. And I'm just there and I go back home and I have another mission, right, where I'm trying to reconnect with my son by going on a bike ride. It just was unrealistic, right? I just couldn't. I got so irritated at that. I hope that the new Grand Theft Auto 6 game isn't like this. When you kill 30 cops, the rest of the game proceeds as if you just killed 30 cops. And it would at least follow some movie reality. That's all I ask. That's all I ask, okay? Thank you very much. Am I being too harsh on the video game universe? I mean, I guess that's the way it is. If you're going to say that, people are full of jam and not blood and things like that, then I guess you have to take a few of their concessions as well, right? That, okay, fine. Then suddenly you can shoot a bunch of people with, right, with impunity. Okay. So yeah, I've been sequestered in my house today. Not necessarily true that I haven't had a job. I've been working. As a matter of fact, just a few minutes before this, I did like a tutoring appointment, with a student on Zoom out of, San Francisco. And I'm assuming that was probably my last appointment that I'll have of the year because, or of the school year because, school is ending for every high school student across the country, this week. So I was working with the kid on writing essays and things like that. And I've also been out, driving, delivering food, delivering groceries, just whatever I can do to, as I say, scotch tape my income together, at the end of every month to, pay rent and bills and things like that. Unfortunately, today though, I couldn't drive my car. I got a new car last year, this hybrid, and I was initially very excited about the concept of driving a hybrid, joining that so-called green revolution and paying less money for gas. My excitement over that was very quickly dashed, though, last year. Because I had to go in, I had to pay, when I was renewing my tags, I had to pay a gas tax. And I don't know if this is an Alabama thing or like a federal thing. I didn't care. When somebody says that you owe them $400, you don't really care whose thing it is. You're just annoyed. You can't protest or anything like that. You can't drive your car anymore until you pay this gas tax. And the idea is that you're not paying all this money for the gasoline, but we're going to somehow make you do it anyway. So rather than paying that money at the pump over the course of an entire year, you have to pay it in one lump sum to the Department of Revenue or whatever, wherever you go at the courthouse. So that was fun. And then on top of that, the past couple of weeks, I've been noticing this problem when I'm out driving my car, delivering food. I'll be at a stop sign or stopped at a red light or just stopped for a few minutes in traffic. And the light will turn green or traffic's all good to go. And I'll step down on my accelerator and the car won't go. It'll just kind of sit there like a dead turd. And it'll take me just like about 3 to 5 seconds of me just pressing down on the gas for the thing to go. This is a major safety issue, isn't it? Yeah, no, it is. I found this out. In traffic the other day, I was waiting to go, and there was this car about a half mile away from me, and it was coming at me, and it wasn't stopping because it was just assuming that I was going to pull out ahead of him. And the car just completely stopped. It's a major, very scary issue. And after doing some research on forums and threads and all that, this is actually a very commonly reported issue in my model of car. It's called the death lag. That doesn't sound good. Yeah, the death lag. 3 to 5 seconds of just the car losing acceleration. Apparently it's a software issue paired with a transmission issue, and it's a manufacturing error. It's nothing that I could have done to the car. So, I called Hyundai today. I called Tameron Hyundai over in Hoover, and I made an appointment. And I wanted to get it in today because this is an immediate thing. It's costing me a lot of money every minute. Sometimes that car sits out there in my behind my apartment building. Right, I'm losing money, and I need to get this thing checked out immediately. And so I call up Tameron and I tell them what the issue is, and they say, okay, the earliest we have available is next Monday morning. But she says, I may be able to get you in earlier. And I say, okay, that's great. Let's go ahead and keep that Monday appointment. But if you can find something earlier, that'd be great. And she says, well, I tell you what, you can bring it in we're closed on Sunday, but you can bring it on Saturday. And I said, oh, that's great. So they can look at it on Saturday. Well, no, hold on. I said, you can bring it in Saturday night. And I say, well, when will they look at it? And she says, Monday. I say, like, well, what's the difference? I'll just bring it in on Monday. And they're like, I know, but that way you don't have to come in on Monday morning. So, and she says, but I'll keep looking for something. Okay, so I'm great. Okay. So I hang up the phone, and I'm planning on just, I guess, staying in the house because I can't get in my car. I don't trust the thing because it's got this death lag. About 5 minutes later, she calls me back. And she says, okay, after talking to the service department, I found out that you could actually bring it in tomorrow if you'd like. And I said, oh my gosh, that's great. So they can take a look at it. Well, no, you can bring it in tomorrow and then they'll be able to look at it on Monday. I don't know how to respond to that. So it's just going to be sitting there without being looked at longer. That's what she was telling me. So yeah. So I got the car here, and I guess I'll be keeping it through the weekend and taking it on Monday. And I'll be sequestered in the house, but also, I don't know. My wife does have a car, but she also needs that to work. So I'll find, I guess, ways to... I think I'm supposed to get this paycheck tomorrow from this from this job that I lost a couple of weeks ago. I think I'm supposed to get my first and only paycheck from that job. So I'll wait for that to arrive. All right. Okay, according to my count, I've been talking for about 30 minutes, so let's take a music break. Allow me to catch my breath, and I will see you back here in about 10 minutes. Less than that.
It's the Sunshine State Ballet. Under the coyote moon they pray. Follow the swinging cat to a much more northern, less stout. A sip of Badland Beaujolais. It's the Black Hill Elysium. The deadwood coven that awakened them. On the Great Plains you'll find that there's nowhere to hide. Like a buffalo hunt, you better run.
And what you just heard, that was a new artist who I've never played on the show before. Joe Schumacher. John Schumacher? Joel Schumacher is the film director. The artist's name is John Schumacher with Beyond Belief. And before that, you heard an artist that I have played many times on the show before. I love Forget the Whale. That's the name of the band. The name of the track there was Vampires of South Dakota, which I've never played on the show before. Yeah, Forget the Whale. They're so super nice. I mean, every time I play one of their songs, they thank me for it, and I want to thank them as well, because all their music, as well as John Schumacher's, it's available on the Free Music Archive, freemusicarchive.org. You can find a lot of great Creative Commons stuff. You can use it for free as long as you credit it, which I just did. So that's fantastic. Now, I want to remind you that I am recording tonight's show. I'm in the studio. I didn't record last week's show because I was a busy week, so I recorded I'm recording. Of course, I'm recording. That's how you're hearing it. But I'm videotaping it. Well, I'm streaming it. It is on YouTube, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so it's on YouTube, so you can watch that. I did not put last week's show on YouTube because I was out and about and recording the show outside of the studio, so I didn't video it. Okay, but you can find it over at youtube.com/Mike Booty. You can also find this show, both the audio and video versions, as well as every other show I've ever done, over at mikesbonfire.substack.com. I recently moved everything over there, and there's a lot of really other cool stuff that's happening over there at my Substack. I'm just finding it kind of in love with it lately. As I was telling a friend of mine last night, Substack has become like my favorite place on the internet. It's kind of like the anti-social media social media. I'm not seeing any ads on it. It's not just a bunch of annoying hashtags and emojis and just clickbait. It seems to be like a universe just like the one that I want to live in, where it is people just writing stuff and making stuff to be enjoyed. And obviously you can pay for a lot of that stuff and subscribe to a lot of that stuff. But my show is completely non-commercial. I'm not asking for a dime. I just want you to possibly subscribe. That'd be nice to the show. Or just, give a little heart to the show. I don't know, whatever. Over at mikesbonfire.substack.com. Other cool stuff that I've been doing lately is I've been back in 2020, 4 years ago, during the summer, when I was truly sequestered, not just because of my car, but because of just this worldwide sickness that was going on called the election 2020. But COVID. I wrote a bunch of short fiction that summer and read it on this here show, but it's since been I haven't been published it online and in a way that's been easy to find. So all of that stuff I am now putting up there for you over at mikesbonfire.substack.com. And I released the first one just this week. It's all about small town, like a small town, Alabama. And you can definitely check it out. And I'll put a link to it in the show notes. So feel free. having issues with my computer. What is my soundboard wanting to shut down? What's going on here? I don't know. I had to pause it there for a second. I had a little technical error there. My soundboard was trying to shut down on me. So here I am. Yeah, in case I got muddled with that like last thing I was trying to say. I know it probably sounded a little incoherent, at least it did to me. Is that during lockdown back in 2020, I wrote a bunch of short fiction, several stories there about a fictional town in small town Alabama called Viscaga. And I've renamed the entire series. It's just called Small Town Alabama. And I'm releasing an episode of that or a story every Thursday over at the Substack. So please go and check that out. It's just a really cool. I really like the stories. I really do. I worked really hard on them. I think all in all, I put them on a Google Doc and they all total out to be something like 99 pages, which is pretty good for me because I procrastinate like crazy whenever it comes to writing. I always feel like I'm no good at it or like I just don't have enough time to sit down and just like write a good story. And that summer, I kind of proved both of those things wrong to myself. I really enjoy these stories. I wouldn't be putting them on there if they weren't good. So yeah, check them out. I'll put a link to the first story that just dropped this week in the show notes. But you can go to the Substack and check it out. It's called The Witherspoon Meteorite. I wanted to talk to you for just a minute about this film I saw this week. Pulled up some clips for it so I could get past the annoying ads. Yeah, there's this film that I watched this week with some of my friends in the backyard. We kind of gather a couple times a week and use the projector and project a movie on the back of my friend's house there here in Birmingham, Alabama. And we were watching this movie this week, kind of ushering us into summer, a movie called Whitewater Summer. And if you've ever seen this movie, I don't know if this would qualify as obscure because it's like got actors in it that you would know, people you've seen before. So it's got like Kevin Bacon in it and Sean Astin from Frodo from the Lord of the Rings, that guy. Yeah, it was filmed, I believe, in like 1985. So it's filmed shortly after the Goonies came out. Of course, the Goonies with Sean Astin, who I believe is like the son of, is it Patty Duke and John Astin from the Addams Family? Yeah, so it's like in the height of that kind of 80s cool guy archetype. And that's like kind of Sean Astin is promoted in the movie poster as like having some sunglasses and he's got like on a Hawaiian shirt and he's just kind of relaxing there in the canoe as it goes over some rapids and like Kevin Bacon is trying to get them out of trouble. Right. And this is Whitewater Summer, and the reason I say I think it's kind of an obscure movie is because even though the film was filmed in 1985, it was shelved for a couple of years, and I think eventually ended up coming out in like 87 or 88 or something, and went to video very, very quickly thereafter. It was a very brief theater release, although by today's standards, it was probably in theaters for a very long time, right? Like back then, if you bombed at the theater, you still were like at least in theaters for 2 or 3 weeks. I think a friend of mine just sent me a message and he said that that movie Fall Guy that just came out, based on that 80s TV show, they made a movie called Fall Guy. and it bombed so badly at the box office that that it's now suddenly like you can watch it at home. It's on streaming. And that's what they do now. Like back then, it took months and months and months to manufacture videotapes. And now you can just, just take the file and put it on streaming. Take the file from theaters and give it to people at home, right? That's all it is. Everything's just so disposable now. But anyway, I digress, which is something I never do on this show. So yeah, Whitewater Summer is this movie about this kid who, kind of a nerdy kid played by Sean Astin. And he's asked to, by his parents, I guess he's told by his parents to go to the mountains and go on this like wilderness survival retreat. So yeah, here's the trailer for Whitewater Summer. I'll play it. Go back.
For 14 years, I've done all kinds of camps. Soccer, sailing, computer, tennis, even chess.
This unique challenge of the great outdoors.
Until this guy showed up.
What's going on back there?
Nobody really great ever slept in dirt.
So you can hear like Sean Astin's voice that he's doing in this, and by the way, Sean Astin is a teenager, doing that voice, which is so weird because in the rest of the movie, whenever he's in a scene with any other actor, he's noticeably much younger. And so that's how you know they shelved this movie for several years, because it's like they didn't wait a couple of years for him to go through puberty, but you can hear that kind of like archetypical 80s cool guy kind of voice where he's like, nobody cool ever slept in a tent or slept on dirt. Right. So you can kind of hear that in his voice. Another thing I should say is that the movie soundtrack was notably done by Bruce Hornsby and The Range. Remember them? Bruce Hornsby and The Range. They did that song. Their big hit song was The Way It Is. And I think the only reason I know that song is because it was adopted by it was a big hit for Tupac later on. He took that song and remixed it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that may be a reason for the movie's failures, because I'm not really sure Bruce Hornsby was big with the kids. But
I'm scared. You ever see a picture of Da Vinci pitching a tent? No. Let's talk about the really great campers. You can do this.
Alan, there's no other way. Put your helmet on.
What do I have to do?
Do your best.
Kevin Bacon,
How did your father ever talk you into coming this summer?
Sean Astin,
I was young. It won't happen again.
Whitewater Summer.
My choice. No camping.
yeah, directed by Jeff Bleckner, who I don't know what else he's done, but the movie is notable though for being the last film of the cinematographer who worked with Stanley Kubrick on Barry Lyndon. Barry Lyndon, which is generally considered one of the most beautiful films, if not the most beautiful film ever shot. So yeah, that guy was the cinematographer on Whitewater Summer, and the movie's dedicated to him because he died shortly after making it. So, but yeah, you could kind of get the idea from Whitewater Summer in that trailer, what it's about. It's kind of like Deliverance Light, or like a young adult version of Deliverance or something like that, where it's just kind of a typical whitewater rafting trip, and they go hiking and things like that. And Kevin Bacon is the adventure guide, and he's like the mentor and the teacher and things like that. And the movie doesn't give you really any idea after that what happens, but you can probably figure it out. Things kind of go crazy and wild. The movie's kind of marketed as a comedy. It's not really a comedy. What I find interesting about the movie, though, and again, as we were watching this movie with in the backyard the other night, is I find it is a pretty good thing if I were ever teaching a teaching workshop, right? Like doing professional development or something like that with a bunch of teachers, I would probably show this movie. Because I think, again, being an educator and being somebody who's worked with a lot of students in the past, this movie, I think, Whitewater Summer does a great job of really illustrating for you the pitfalls of being too much of a hard ass and too authoritarian with kids. Because every time I watch this movie with people, I've seen it a couple of times with a couple of different people, I find myself having conversations about being a teacher. And it's not intentional or anything like that, but I think I could probably do a commentary for this movie as a teacher, because I think it does. It teaches you really a lot of educators when they go into working with students feel like just because they're kind of the person in charge, they're the person in authority, that a lot of times they are the smartest person in the room, or they have no right, or nobody has a right to question their ideas or their beliefs or their motives of how they should go about something. And this movie kind of goes to an extreme a little bit. Okay. And I know that I called it like Deliverance Light. I don't know if it's Deliverance Light. I mean, you would be tempted to say that because it just takes place on Whitewater, right? But let me see. I'm trying to find this scene. Okay, here it is right here. Okay, so this is a good idea. So Kevin Bacon, who's like a big, right, like outdoor enthusiast, is trying to get these kids who have never climbed a mountain before to hitch into a rock and then swing across the rock over, thousands of feet and things like that. And, typical scene that you might find in a movie like this, right? But this is a highlight of what I'm talking about how the movie actually teaches you, if you're going to work with kids, exactly kind of how to treat kids. And in this movie, you are naturally compelled to, because you watch movies, right? You're naturally compelled to either pull for one person or the other. So Kevin Bacon, as kind of the hard ass teacher, you might pull for him, being like, God, these wimpy kids, I hate them. Or you might be in the kid's position and be like, I had teachers like this growing up, screw this guy. But what my argument was, and I got in a bit of a heated debate with a friend of mine one time when we were watching the scene, is that it's like sometimes you need to come a little bit both ways, right? I see where both of them are coming from. So I'll play this for you and then we'll talk about it. So this is a scene from Whitewater Summer. The name of the video is "I Know You Can Do It, I Can't Do It, Then That's Where You'll Stay." That's the title of this video.
Put the sling over your shoulder.
Guess this is supposed to make me safe, huh?
Yes, sir.
Here I come.
You know what to do. Yeah, right. All right. Good man. Yeah, you did.
I'm scared, Mitch.
Me too.
No, I'm scared Vic's gonna hurt me.
Next victim. All right, that's you, Mitch. All right, we're rolling. Yeah, let's go. Nice catch, Mitch. Same thing, Mitch. Now make sure you're locked. And don't forget the sling. You're gonna love it, Mitch.
Ready?
Okay, Mitch. Get a good kick off the rock. All right. Yeah. You don't have to do a thing, Alan. Just trust me.
Yeah, right.
Nice grab.
All right.
You're really gonna like it, Alan.
Move it, man.
Okay, you ready?
Oh, Christ. Oh, God.
Alan, what's wrong?
It's great, man. Do it. Really.
It's honestly great.
Okay, come on, Alan. I know you're afraid. That's nothing to be ashamed of.
I'm not afraid.
You can do it.
I can't.
I know you can. Come on, come on, come on. Trust yourself.
Come on, do it, man.
Alan, there's no other way. You gotta do it. You gotta do it, Alan.
Do it, will ya?
Vic,
Alan,
please.
do it. Do it. God damn it, do it.
Go, Vic! Vic, help! Vic, do something. Grab something. Vic,
Do it, Alan.
You're gonna fall.
Alan!
Vic, what are you gonna
It's
do?
all right, it's all right. I got him on bullet.
Yeah, but you could, I mean...
It's all right. I got him.
Vic, please. Vic, pull me up, please.
It's okay, Alan. Just
Help.
relax. Come on.
Vic.
It's okay. Now, can you get a foothold?
No, I can't.
Try. Try. Get a foothold and just push yourself off from the rock.
I can't do it, Vic. I can't do it.
Try. You gotta try a little harder.
Help me, Vic.
Why don't you just go out there and get him? Swing
Help me,
over.
pull me up.
No. No, not that way. Alan, I know you can do this.
I can't.
I got you anchored. You're not gonna
Oh,
fall.
Jesus, Vic, I can't do this.
You can. If you try.
For Christ's sake, Vic, I can't do it. Don't you understand? I can't do it.
And that's where you'll stay.
What?
Vic, what do you mean? What are you doing? You can't just leave him there. Just let him hang like that.
So, yeah, obviously not a very good thing that Vic is played by Kevin Bacon is doing there, where he's just letting the kid hang and just saying like that's where you'll stay. Okay, but here's the deal though. Like me as a teacher and somebody who's also worked on a zipline course where people are routinely on ropes and fighting their fears, their acrophobia. Sometimes you do that, and I've done that before. I've done it with a little bit more of a joking mood. I've been like, we're just going to leave you out there and go get dinner, and we'll come back for you later, right? But just do that. No, it's so what Kevin Bacon does there, which is wrong, is he does the right thing, but he does it in the wrong voice. I think that's what it is, right? And again, me as a teacher wants to be like, yeah, there's literally nothing else that Kevin Bacon can do in that scene. He can't go out and get the kid and keep it. I mean, only the kid can save himself. And at that point, right, Kevin Bacon has done literally everything he can do. And he's tried to do it nice and he's tried to laugh and joke it off. But none of that's worked. So he resorts to tough love. There's literally nothing wrong with that. And the problem is what he does next is he literally does abandon the kid. Maybe he shouldn't have done that. Okay, so, but yeah, as teachers, again, if I were showing this in like some kind of a professional, and I've been to a lot of professional development seminars before in my time, and what they do mostly is they just make you feel. They don't show you scenes of teaching like this and ask you to critique the teachers. They usually make you get up and kind of like what I've had to do before is like dance to like they make you dance to like Justin Timberlake music and things like that to try and get you out of your comfort zone. And they're like, see, this is what we're doing to kids every day. We're asking them to get out of their comfort zones. And it's like, okay, that's great. I'm already out of my comfort zone. I'm one adult in a room of 12 kids or more. That's pretty uncomfortable. Anyway, so I digress again. What I think is going on in this movie is not necessarily a critique on the job that Kevin Bacon as the teacher is doing, or the attitude that the nerdy indoor Sean Astin kid has. I think it's more of a critique on how these companies that send kids out into the wilderness to ask them to survive for a week or two, how they operate. Okay. So, and we've seen a lot of documentaries and like recent recent months about these wilderness survival camps that came under immense amounts of litigation because they kidnapped these kids from their homes in the middle of their night, in the middle of the night, with their parents' permission, and they take these kids to the middle of like the desert in Utah, and basically starve them, make them kill their own food, make them find their own water, and several kids ended up dying. And these are bad things, but I think like what makes Whitewater Summer kind of interesting is the fact that it's a wilderness survival camp, but it's not really how they're usually run. Like Kevin Bacon should not be the only adult there. Like no wonder he goes crazy. And he doesn't really even go crazy in the movie. He basically just gets a little mad at the kids and the kids get mad at him. And when they get mad at him, they accidentally push him over a cliff and he breaks his leg and they have to pull him back to safety. And they all become friends in the end, which is good. And Sean Astin, Alan decides he doesn't want to go back out to the woods. And that's the end of the movie. And the movie ends with the song from Journey's Raised on Radio, Be Good to Yourself. But yeah, like I think like none of that would have happened. It's like, and that's the message I would give to teachers, is that make sure you have a good support system, right? Not necessarily of kids, but of adults around you to back up your decision, but also to sort of respectfully question your decisions. If Kevin Bacon had realistically been in that scene, right, with a team of kids, and he had another adult there, Kevin Bacon would have been the lead guide who had set up the belay and swung across and set everything up. And then there would have been a sweet guide, an adult behind the kids who would have gone last. And again, I don't think of Kevin. I think like you're supposed to in this scene, think of Kevin Bacon as the villain in this moment because he gets so mad at Sean Astin. But he's just frustrated. He's fed up because he hasn't been given a support system of adults, right? And so that's what I would tell teachers ultimately, is just make sure that whatever you're doing in the classroom, you've run it by some other colleagues first, and they kind of have given you feedback, and they also can support you when things go awry. I think that's what I would what I would say to them, right? Anyway, just some thoughts on the film Whitewater Summer. So, I saw this today. This came across my inbox. This is kind of interesting. Excuse me. That this library in Idaho, the Donnelly Public Library, will now be adults only. An adults only library beginning July 1st. Why adults only? Well, because they couldn't comply logically with a piece of legislation from their state House of Representatives that requires so-called adult books, basically just books that are meant for adults. It requires them to be separated at a certain distance away from kids, away from the kids section, essentially. Yeah, it says Donnelly Public Library was deeply saddened by the passing of HB 710. Unfortunately, the ambiguous language in the legislation leaves us no options but to make some very drastic changes. We are only 1,024 square feet. Our size prohibits us from separating our grown-up books to be out of the accessible range of children. So in order to comply with the legislation, we're going to be transitioning our library to an adult-only library as of July 1st. So an adults-only library. Yeah, when I first read that, I thought the same thing as you are probably thinking right now. It's like, am I going to have to start paying my library fines in singles? Right? Yeah, I mean, again, this is very usual lately. It kind of started in Florida, and it's just part of this whole initiative to keep kids protected, mainly from like LGBTQ literature, to keep kids to separate this latest wave of young adult fiction as well as very young kids fiction that's based around gender identity and all that, and whatever you want to think about that. It's caused a lot of collateral damage, and this is a good example of that. Where it's like you're basically throwing the baby out with the bathwater. They're making these big sweeping laws that not only ban this kind of quote unquote adult material from kids, but essentially any book. And this is obviously strange to me because as I think I said on the show a couple weeks ago, as soon as I could get out of reading so-called young adult literature, I did. Not that I didn't enjoy like the Matilda books, the Roald Dahl books, right? The Charlie and the Chocolate Factories and the Hatchets and all that stuff, all this stuff you're supposed to enjoy as a kid. The Mouse on the Motorcycle. I really wanted to read like the stuff that my parents were reading and the stuff that was seemed like a little bit more challenging. This is the stuff that seemed like adults were reading. And the best way I could do this was to go to the library. And there were no restrictions on where I could go in that library or whatever. And in Alabama, where I live, my home state, right, there was a similar kind of piece of legislation to this one that looks like they just passed in Idaho that would criminalize librarians for essentially pushing books with quote unquote adult subject matter, whatever that may be, right onto kids. So the librarians that got me interested in all those books in the 90s that everybody else cared about, the Michael Crichton techno thrillers, the John Grisham legal thrillers, all that stuff, would have been jailed. I do not think it passed because I think everybody realized, even the staunchly conservative lawmakers realized how stupid it sounded. But I mean, again, it's just kind of another example of how libraries have oddly become in 2024 very controversial. And I just I don't know how we got here. It's like trying to explain to an ant how a television works. How just everybody in the world started caring about what books kids could see in the library. Right. When I was a teenager and I worked in a video store, nobody even cared about the fact that we were shelving the quote unquote special interest videos, the adult videos next to the Thomas the Tank Engine videos. Nobody seemed to care about that. It was just kind of like, whatever. It's a video store, and we service everybody, right? And that's the idea of the library too. What I don't understand is that something like 32% of adults admitted to not having read a complete book in the last year. That's according to the Pew Research Center poll that I read recently. So 32% of adults don't read books. Then why do we care who goes into a library or not? It's just a strange thing to me. But yeah, we're getting to this point now where we're having to use this language usually reserved for like strip clubs and adult bookstores, adults only. And we're applying it to libraries. It's just an odd thing to me. All right. It's about that time. We're going to go down to the Video Street Video Store and check out their latest stock. Enjoy it. I'll be back here in about 8 minutes.
The city that Canadians think of as just a mean Toronto. And who out of towners here visiting New York? All right. So you got to see the hot weather, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, we had weather. It was so hot here the last week. I mean, it was like crazy time. Where are you from?
Philadelphia.
Well, so it's hot. It's hotter than here. Yeah. Are you aware that the Liberty Bell has got a crack in it? You should call and tell them. But it's so, when it's hot, when the temperature reaches Lauren Bacall's true age. I mean, it was so hot. Ask you how hot it was. Thank you for asking. It was so hot that people went to see Hudson Hawk just to enjoy the air conditioning. And it was so hot, everyone went to the beach, and on one beach, according to the newspapers, John Kennedy Jr. was seen with actress Sarah Jessica Parker smooching it up. Kissy, huggy, cussy, go. Oh, the salt air obviously has a big effect on all the Kennedy men. And, we're going to discuss this a little on the show next. These guys, I mean, they are just crazy. They see an ocean. They have a bail bondsman on retainer. I mean, it's just... And what I find fascinating in today's paper is we're in the middle of recession depression, right? Who are we kidding? Yeah, right, we're not. In the middle of all this horror, Ford Company plans to raise new car prices by 5%. So it turns out that the Pinto is their second dumbest idea. I mean, oh, that's right. And if you really want to get crazy, all of you out there, Madonna earned $65 million last year. So she may have made it on like a virgin, but she sure cashes those checks like a hooker. I mean, $65 million. Yeah, that's a lot of no-cal yogurt. Anyhow, speaking of Madonna, I don't know how many of you have been reading, but she's been involved in a recent Hollywood catfight that has been going on between some of Hollywood's hottest leading ladies. If you don't, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Deborah. Oh, look at the catfight. What's it about?
It's about the new movie In Their Own League, I believe.
No, that was the other cat. Oh, no, this is about Catwoman and Batman.
Oh, right. Sean Young. Yes. Yeah.
See, he does know. You see it here first. The rumor is that there are names like Cher, Melanie Griffith, Sean Young, Julia Roberts, plus, of course, Madonna, who are dying for the role of Catwoman in the up-and-coming sequel to Batman. They've all been vying for it. Earlier this week, the announcer and director, Tim Burton, announced that the role of Catwoman was gone to Michelle Pfeiffer. Well, now you learn a little something here, thank you. And that has made a lot of people very unhappy, including me, because I thought I could try too. They could do older Catwoman. Anyhow, there is one actress who refuses to give up. She's the only, she says, real Catwoman, and she's going to join us today with a message to the director, Tim Burton, okay? So we're going to see, this is a real Hollywood actress and a big timer. You'll all know the name when we say it. So Catwoman strikes again!
for the director of Batman 2. How dare you not make time to see the Catwoman, not even so much as granting me a meeting? How very rude of you. After all, I was in the original Batman cast. How dare you not even return the Catwoman's phone calls? I don't make phone calls very often, and after all, business is business, and doing good business means that you return your phone calls. It's a pretty simple formula, Timmy. How dare you treat the Catwoman so badly? Have I ever been anything except professional with you? Have I badmouthed you? Did I show up late for rehearsals or something? I even jumped up on a horse I was scared to death of because you asked me to. And when I had an accident and fractured my shoulder from falling off that horse, you didn't even send me a get well message. Seems to me old Timmy takes himself pretty seriously now. So I'm going to do you a favor and help you check into reality for a minute. You see, you really do have a wonderful life. Very lucky to do what you're doing. But something must have happened to you since we last met. Because not to grant the Catwoman a meeting and not to see me when I dropped by your office indicates that you're not taking care of business and that you don't have a clue as to who the real Catwoman is. Consider this a formal notice that the Catwoman has tried to get through to you, and you wouldn't listen.
The best in the business, and that box he's wheeling around is his fortune. Inside Carol's laugh machine are 10 tape players containing gasps, guffaws, chuckles, applause, the works. On top of the console are 40 buttons that Carol plays like a virtuoso conductor. Watch him warm up for a sweetening session on the sitcom Webster. Once he's hooked up and his laugh orchestra tuned, Pratt and Webster producer Bruce Johnson watched the show scene by scene as it was recorded with the natural studio laughter. Usually, Pratt has a free hand in deciding where the new laughs will go. Here's the same scene sweetened.
The laughs are arranged horizontally across the keyboard from a very small laugh up to what we would have as probably our largest laugh today.
That's the buffalo laugh, huh?
Right. And of course there are combinations, and you might want to build an innuendo from something small into as a slow build or a sight impact laugh.
Laugh sweetening is not only used to increase laughter on a sitcom, but serves a purely technical purpose as well.
A lot of times in editing or in pickups, which is reshooting scenes after the audience has gone home, for technical reasons usually, he'll bridge those gaps. Sometimes in editing, we choose to pull up the picture, therefore cutting off the laugh, upcutting the picture. He'll smooth that out.
Let's give a little on. You're pushing it.
Oh, okay.
Little.
I went into this with the feeling that laugh tracks were really a bad thing, but I'm convinced that correctly done, where it doesn't antagonize the audience by being overdone or pushy, a laugh track does help the enjoyment.
For a laugh man, the trick is to identify with the viewer, and Pratt is highly regarded in the business for doing just that.
One of the reasons that Carroll is the best is he brings the objectivity, and he will stop himself and regulate himself and ask to do it over. He'll ask Larry, can we stop and can we go back and do it over? It was too much. My timing was off. He is very honestly self-critical.
How about a book? You're pushing it.
Oh, you're a sweetheart.
For years, it was felt that if you have a laugh machine, use it to the hilt. If a little bit is good, a lot is better. And little by little, the American public became so sophisticated, they knew what was happening, and it called for a lessening. And I think, 20 years later, we're softening the laugh track and being a little more honest in our approach.
Some viewers find laugh tracks obnoxious and hope that the need for canned laughter will pass. That doesn't seem likely. Meanwhile, Carroll Pratt's off to another session, and at $100 an hour, he's smiling all the way.
Has the day of the laugh track passed? I don't know. When's the last laugh track you heard? I think every time I go over to my parents' house, I don't know what it is with older people and the Big Bang Theory. My parents love that show. I find it like it's the most obnoxious show to me. I think part of it is because of the heavily manufactured laugh track. And I think it's almost because the creators of that show are honestly, I think, laughing at the audience that's laughing that's unaware to the laugh track. That's what I think. It's like that show is just produced so cynically that it uses the laugh track almost as a way to sort of show that like hip audiences that they're above it, that they know how dumb it is that people actually think that it's real laughter or something like that. I don't know, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube of laugh tracks being removed from stuff like the Big Bang Theory, and it just makes it seem incredibly just vapid. And it's but so I don't know. I think the Big Bang Theory is over now, right? They have that show Young Sheldon or whatever. But but every time I go over to my parents' house, they're watching the Big Bang Theory, and I cannot believe how terribly canned that laughter sounds. Like, honestly, they could use that guy with that little machine. Of course, that was in 1983, so he's most likely not living anymore. And I'm sure everything now is just digital laughter and digital applause, right? Well, there's nothing like that on this show. Nothing like that at all. No, I would not at all use canned anything on this show, right? No, not at all. Not at all. Thank you. So anyway, yeah, before that, I showed something I had unearthed recently. I know people have been aware of this for years, but that Joan Rivers show from 1991 with Sean Young. If you haven't, I highly recommend watching that entire thing. And the entirety of the Video Street Video Store, by the way, I am releasing entire bigger, longer, uncut episodes of it on, you guessed it, Mike's Substack, Mike's Bonfire.substack.com. Longer, unedited episodes of that show with all the interstitials, bumpers, and music and things like that. It's good. It's good stuff to put on at night when you want to go to sleep and you just want something on. Video Street Video Store. But yeah, Sean Young was originally cast as Vicky Vale. right, in the 1989 Tim Burton Batman movie. And the tragedy of it is she fell off a horse. She wasn't replaced on it or anything like that. She wasn't replaced on the film. She fell off a horse in a scene that they were preparing to shoot that ended up not even making it into the film. And she was in the hospital, and they had to get a last-minute replacement. And that obviously was Kim Basinger. And the film went on to be a huge success, obviously. And Sean Young's career, I think she did Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde or something like. But she had been obviously in some really big movies. Obviously, she was in like one of the most important movies of all time, if not not one of the most successful films commercially. But Blade Runner, she was in Blade Runner, right? And it's just it's really sad about Sean Young because obviously getting kicked off of the biggest movie of all time probably does a lot of terrible things to your what I can imagine is already, as an actor, probably a very fragile ego. And it just seemed like by 1991, when she hadn't even been asked to audition, is just a courtesy, right, for Batman Returns. She just went off the deep end and appeared on Joan Rivers' short-lived talk show. I guess it was a daytime talk show, in a bat suit, right? And just making that, what she probably felt was a joke, but it just comes across as sad and angry and loathsome. And just getting mad at Tim Burton personally for not casting her as Catwoman, right? And so it's one of the saddest moments to me in television, but also obviously schadenfreudeistically kind of funny at the same time. So, so check that out over at the Video Street Video Store. Yeah. All right. I want to thank you so much for joining me here on the Midnight Citizen Show. Hope you had a good time tonight. Again, remember you can check out this show as well as the entire archive completely free to listen to and in some cases to watch over at mikesbonfire.substack.com. Check it out there, along with, of course, my short fiction and the full episodes of the Video Street Video Store and other stuff. You can also check me out over at the Overnightscape Underground on onsug.com. And yeah, keep in mind, I am recording video of this show tonight. You can check that out over at youtube.com/MikeBooty. But also, if you have Spotify, I'm releasing video shows along with the audio over there. So it's just like you could listen to the show or watch it at the same time. So I think that's a pretty cool deal there, right? I've been doing this show since 2010. I think I finally figured out kind of how to release it. So anyway. Right. So please subscribe to the show if you want to. Leave a comment. I really appreciate private messages, but make them public so that other people can see how much you like them. Right? And that's all I've got for tonight. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, if you do want to reach out to me, I'll be here throughout the weekend until I can take my car in on Monday. Of course, I may take it in tomorrow morning. I know they're not going to look at it until Monday, but maybe they'll get around to it. I don't know. Okay. Keep your eyes open.